What's up guys, so today we're going to try to put the valve cover gaskets, the rear main seal, and the oil pan gasket on the LS. Hopefully made it up to the transmission, the 4L60E, and hopefully test fit it in the C10. So let's get started on moving this stuff around so we can get some room to work. Alright, so I have the fluid draining right now. I'm going to go ahead and remove the neutral safety switch and the other brackets in the actual back mount. And then I'm going to just clean it up and tape off the plugs. And just kind of give it a good coat of silver engine paint, and you know, just kind of make it look a little bit better than what it does, because Alright, so that's all the tape pulled off. Considering that it didn't take me that long, it looks really nice. Way better than it did from the junkyard. So, painted. So now we're going to go to the motor, see what we're going to do next. Alright, so I cut the K off the motor. It rocks a little bit. Pretty sketch. But I was looking at it, and, well, I'm going to take the intake off before I put it in the truck, but they actually broke my oil sensor. They rattle cans some paint all over it, but they broke my stock oil sensor right there. So I'm gonna pull it out real quick, and then I'm probably gonna pull the intake off, and I'm gonna get started on valve cover gaskets. Maybe I'll do the valve cover gaskets first, and then pull that sensor out, and then when I get it up on the hoist, that's when I'll do the rear main seal and oil pan, and then test fit the engine. So this one valve cover's taken me a lot longer than I thought it was going to. They really permatext the shit out of it when they put it on there. I guess it's to really make sure that you put new valve cover gaskets on and actually seal it. Okay, so I went ahead and I got the gasket all set in with a little bit of RTV just to hold it into place. And I was struggling to get these grommets on, these bolts. And because I was a little bit sketched out, wondering, man, this is going to tear if I really try to force these on. So I went ahead and YouTubed it. And I forget the guy's name, but there's a couple videos on there getting the grommets on these valve cover bolts. What they do is, I went and got a piece of tinfoil and put it in like one of the small kitchen ovens. Put it on like 200 degrees for like 5-10 minutes just to get them nice, like still warm, you grab them with your hand. And just, they slid right over. So I guess it's because they just get them up to like operating temperature. Obviously they got to seal. I'd rather them not seal than not seal. But pro tip, learn everything YouTube University. So we're continuing on with the LS. I ended up stopping at the rear main seal. Just because I ran out of time. So when I pulled the knock sensors out, it actually broke the two wires and the clips. The one front knock sensor looks like it's never been changed, and the rear one definitely has been. So what I'm gonna do is soak those with WD-40, pull those knock sensors out, and then get this motor in the air, and we can do the rear main seal and oil pan gasket. Just to show you guys, so you can tell that this knock sensor, actually the front one's the one that it looks pretty new. It's been replaced, but actually that clip broke right off in there, and then you can see this one just shattered. There was a lot of junk in here, but overall it's not too bad. Down in the head, nothing got in the heads. I took a vacuum, cleaned it all up, then sat here for probably an hour or two with Q-tips and a rag and stuff cleaning it up. I didn't realize when I pulled the manifold off that the oil pressure sensors broke, but I think I'm actually gonna use an aftermarket one that goes to the gauges that I'm gonna get. So, not too worried about that right now. I just broke it loose and left it in there so nothing falls in there. But I'm going to soak this one up with WD-40 and this one just for precaution. Alright, so I got a 22mm socket, or I believe in standard it's 7/8, but the 22 fits a little more snug. And I got a breaker bar, so I'm just going to break these loose. Fingers crossed, nothing bad happens. Set that on there. First one's like butter. Whew. Alright, for the most part, everything everything's cleaned up pretty good. I went ahead and taped up the ports in the head so nothing falls down in there. Obviously those are open, but I'm about to mount the plate and then hopefully hoist this thing in the air. After 20 minutes of finagling with this stupid pallet because the legs are too long to get around the pallet, we ended up taking this hoist and putting it on top of the pallet and pulling it off. Sketchy as it gets. This is it in all its glory in the air. Alright, we got the oil pan off. Now I'm going to clean that gasket up and clean the bottom of the motor. And then I have the rear main seal cover soaking right now. And then put the new gasket on the oil pan, and then we'll put that back up and then put the rear main seal in. Okay, so this align it tool right here centers this rear cover. Now I don't have my sealing yet. Now from what I've learned and saw on the internet, that this is centered now, but what I really want to do is install the oil pan to make sure that this is centered from left to right flush, so that way it sits right, and then all I did was continuing bolting everything up, tighten these down, and then install the rear main seal. Cover's on, everything's torqued. The cover bolts were torqued to I believe it's 106 inch-pounds or 18 foot-pounds. These front bolts go to 106 inch-pounds, and the ones going to the block and the front cover all go to 18 foot-pounds. I'm sorry, those don't go to 18 foot-pounds. Those go to 106 inch-pounds. So whatever that conversion, I think is 5 or 10. But yeah, it's pretty much ready to rock, put in. So I'm going to put, I got these, the LS swap mounts. There's ICT billet plates, just like that. They're gonna mount up to the clamshells, and we'll put the motor mounts on the motor too. And then I gotta tighten those down. So hopefully I can get this thing test fitted and see what this oil pan looks like. So let's go ahead and do that. So I know this is gonna be kind of hard to see, but I didn't make it to put the rear flex plate and torque converter on. I really wanted to test fit the motor. It's kind of my goal for today, was to make sure I get to test fit the motor, make sure the mount's all lined up, and figure out where I gotta set it, because the plates have 4 spots where you can adjust it. So I want to see on the farthest setting back where my motor will sit. And this isn't it sitting all the way down, still on the hoist. It's gonna sit still at an angle like that because my truck's on air ride, so the back end's slammed right now. So it's kind of sitting on an angle, and my truck sits so low in the front, I had to use a jack and to get in the air to get the engine hoist under it. So just little things. Still a long ways to go, and also finished plumbing my air lines in their permanent places. I had to run the back brake line clips, whole harness I still have to wire and do, but that's for the future. It's still exciting. So if you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and like, share, comment. Let me know, guys, anything you want to see on the truck and other things we're doing. So until next time, thanks guys.